What's up everybody and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at the 2024 Ford Mustang. This one's a GT Premium finished in grabber blue. MSRP is around $54,000 and we have the 401A package. So let's see what is powering the legendary Mustang GT. Of course you have that badge on the side already telling you a sneak peek of what is underneath the hood. Well, this has that Coyote 5-liter naturally aspirated 8-cylinder motor, pumping out about 480 horsepower with 415 pound-feet of torque. You can either get a 10-speed automatic or a 6-speed manual transmission on the Mustang. It's also a rear-wheel drive car. 0 to 60 is around 4 seconds for the automatic, 4.3 for the manual. And then I do like the twin intake design, this cool engine cover, and you got those gas struts. Taking a look at the styling, the 2024 is the new one. This is the S650, replacing the S550. So it has a lot of style changes to it. Still looks like a Mustang, but a little bit more modern. I love the LED headlights. If you tap the lights, you can see them glowing, kind of doing a little heartbeat, which is a pretty neat touch. Of course, the triple beam LEDs, and then a gloss black front grille. Got the chrome pony badge, active grille shutters back here, lots of openings to provide cooling to the big ol' engine. Got some trim on the far side, a nice little front splitter, and then plastic color for the opening down below. Overall, this still looks like a Mustang. I think overall, they did a really good job with the new design. You have a functional heat extraction vent up on the top of the hood as well, with some sharp body lines, and those body lines actually fade their way right into the roof line. So pretty cool to see them transfer all those lines together. You got a nice set of silver wheels. They're 19-inch diameter with a Brembo braking system up in front. You can see some sharp lines around the front arch, along with that 5-liter badge, and then some plastic trim for the side skirt. You have a few sharp body lines throughout the side, body-colored side mirrors with an LED turn signal, body-colored door handles, and then I love these razor-sharp lines for the rear fender arch. As far as the side profile, this is the fastback, that's what they call their coupe, and it looks just like that. You got the big hood up front for that big engine, and everything slopes into that rear trunk. The new Mustang is about 1 inch longer than the old one, and you can tell just the rear bumper kind of protrudes outwards a little bit more, has a very sharp design right there. So it's got a unique touch in back. Overall, looking good in back with the body colored spoiler. You got your GT badge along with the backup camera, and then I really like the LED taillights. Got the traditional 3-bar quad exhaust down below with all of your parking sensors, reverses in the center, and this protrudes outward as well. On to remote start. Go ahead and lock it. Cannot argue with that sound. Great sounding motor. You have a button on the key fob along with a button on the bumper to where you can open up the trunk. Pretty decent amount of space in here. Storage on the left, subwoofer on the right side, and the seats will fold down. We just close that. Moving to the interior now, you can just automatically unlock it, and then grabbing the lever behind the seat, we can get that out of the way. And then the second row here, you pull these straps, and these are gonna fold down nice and flat, giving you more cargo area into the trunk. Hopping into the back, the Mustang GT is semi-useful back here. Not exactly a big back seat, however at 5'11", I can fold myself into it. My head is right against the glass, so I'm definitely not the most comfortable. But, you know, for a sporty muscle car like this, it's useful. You can actually fit grown-ups here. Of course, use this for storage. So nice to see that. Climbing my way out, holding the seat back. On the door panel, you're gonna see it finished off in black. I like the vinyl material they're using. Got some contrast stitching, some chrome color. You do get plastic carbon fiber, which I wish was real. There's quite a lot of it throughout this interior, especially for the money. It'd be nice to see real. Kind of fades its way into the speaker, which is kind of nice. Release handle. You have the illuminated aluminum logo. Manual controls and power controls. And then these seats are the standard seats. They look really good though. You got the perforations, the smooth leather, all the contrast stitching, and Recaro seats are available. Hopping inside now. Slide the seat back just a tad, foot on the brake. Let that Coyote roar. Nice flat bottom design for the leather steering wheel. perforations, the plastic carbon, some silver trim all throughout it. You have some cruise control settings on the left, distance pacing. Drive mode select is right here, which is a really cool look. So if we toggle all of this, you can basically scroll through all of the different drive modes you're gonna have in this car. Each one is also gonna give you a completely different gauge cluster. So if we go into sport mode, it does take a little bit to go into each drive mode. But sport mode has a pretty unique design. And then going into track mode, that's my favorite. You're gonna get the massive tachometer, which is really cool to see. So definitely a sweet setup. Bluetooth and audio controls on the right, and then you can even adjust your steering wheel. Of course, in normal mode, you will have a few different versions of the steering feel. You have paddle shifters for the 10-speed, stock on the right for windshield wipers, turn signals on the left, with all of your headlights down here, some vinyl material and contrast stitching, more of that plastic carbon. And I like this screen. This screen looks so good on the dashboard. You have two 12-inch screens basically in one giant bezel. In person, it actually looks really cool. I think they did a good job on it. You're gonna see more of the plastic carbon with Mustang, some vinyl and stitching down below towards the air vents with more of the plastic carbon. And then on the center screen, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can also scroll this side up and down, and you actually get quite a few things that will pop up, which is a nice touch to see. And you can swipe things over into the center screen. Climate is always going to be on the screen down below. You kind of have to do 2 steps for everything: heated seats, ventilated seats, your temperature, your steering wheel, of course, fan speed as well, and then your different zones will pop up. So not the most favorite design, honestly. I'd rather just have physical controls. However, it still is a really good looking screen. Home menu now, you can see a few different items popping up right here, and then you have your settings. You can scroll through everything right here, view what you have to change in the car. Going back home, if we go into features now, My Mustang is a cool spot. We have track apps, acceleration timer, brake timer, line lock. You have your gauges for the auxiliary, which is really nice to see. Custom mode as well. You can configure how you'd like each drive mode to operate, changing the color, and then the cluster theme. So here's where you can really see what every display is going to look like in the car. So you can basically have it sync to the drive mode, or just independently do it however you'd like. You even have a Fox body one like the old school Mustangs, which is a nice touch. So if we match drive mode, of course, we get it depending on your mode. You also have your exhaust valve. You're able to adjust air vents, shortcuts down below. This pony badge will get you to this screen that we're on right now. Wireless phone charging and some plugs. And then I like the vinyl and stitching throughout the center tunnel. Makes this feel a little bit more premium. Park and braking cup holders, and then a little bit of storage. Nice size glove box. And then one last look at the interior. This is a huge step up from the old car. Honestly, a nice place to be. Black headliner, sunglass holder, dome lights, garage door buttons, and a frameless mirror. All right, setting off now. In the Mustang GT. Obviously, you gotta love the V8. I mean, that is just an American muscle engine underneath the hood. So it's awesome to see Ford still giving us what we want, a big V8. Sounds amazing with the exhaust in the track mode. Has such a good tone to it. So the 10-speed transmission, I'm not the biggest fan of. I would prefer the 6-speed manual. However, the 10-speed, if you play with it as if it were a 6-speed, honestly, it does a pretty good job. If you're really on the gas flooring it, it shifts really quick, pretty snappy. My only complaint is if you happen to be in a really high gear, it takes a long time to downshift into an optimal gear. So definitely, you don't want to play with it way too high in the revs. But it's good. Of course, it gives you the daily driving aspects and still a pretty good performance-focused design. So if we tone down the drive modes, I love the displays, like it looks super cool. However, I'm not the biggest fan of how long it takes to honestly change the drive mode. It's cool to have the display, but I'd rather you be able to honestly turn that on and off and just quickly go to the next drive mode. But nonetheless, if we go just kind of back into normal everything, the new Mustang is a nice car to drive. I think it is significantly better than the old one. It's more comfortable feeling. The materials are better. It looks so good. More refined in here as well. I love the look of the screens. They all look great. Great amount of information on them. I mean, really, this is a nice car to just drive and be in. Even in normal mode, automatic, I mean, this thing's peppy, very healthy motor. It'll do what you need to do. Visibility is pretty good. You have a very flat hood. You can definitely see it. This bezel is below the dash itself, to where this isn't just like a tablet stuck on, even though it kind of is just a giant tablet stuck on. It doesn't honestly look like that when you're driving. So it looks really sunken into the dashboard. I like that. You feel nice. I mean, you feel very open. You can see around really easily. You know, over your right shoulder, plenty of visibility. I mean, honestly, this is fine, especially for being more of that low slung coupe. This is an easy car to daily drive. With the suspension, I think this one just has the fixed normal suspension. You can get magnetic suspension for the different adjustments. This one rides really nice. It's absorbing bumps really well. It doesn't feel harsh or backbreaking at all. I mean, honestly, this is a really nice place to be. When you play with the drive modes, of course, being able to customize all this, really just the steering feel can go from lighter to heavier, exhaust, and then it's just slightly traction control. So that's kind of what the drive modes do in this one. If you don't have the performance package, you're not really gonna notice the drive modes, just really the steering and traction and exhaust is kind of the biggest thing. Nonetheless, it's still a quick car. I mean, it's got plenty of power. I mean, you're not gonna drive a V8 Mustang and think it's slow. So you have kind of everything you need in this car, and it's fun to drive. And I like how they haven't really sacrificed, you know? It's a big muscle car, so obviously the fuel is gonna keep drinking itself away. We had a Mustang for a week, and my goodness, it just drinks fuel. But you got a V8, so who cares? So with this, you know, I think I like it. I like what it has to offer. The Brembos, they do a good job stopping you. If you are in automatic mode in track, I mean, it stays more aggressive. So the drive modes still do work well to give you that fun factor. And overall, it's just a nice car. You have good seating position, good maneuverability, good armrest. I love the new steering wheel. The ergonomics are also pretty good. Only complaint, climate controls, I would rather have physical buttons, but it still does the job. And once you get used to it, honestly, you're not really gonna notice. But it's a cool car to drive. It's got the power, the sound, and a lot of fun factor for being also a practical daily driver.